Welcome on this journey through ancient Judea as we explore Jesus' most profound teachings. Today we dive into the story of the rich man and Lazarus to mirror the heart. This parable urges us to reflect on compassion and our final eternal destination. Imagine dusty Jerusalem streets where social status dictated every interaction in the community. In this era, people believed that wealth was the ultimate sign of divine blessing. Those with abundance were honored as chosen ones, rewarded for a righteous life. Conversely, the poor were viewed as individuals judged and cursed by God. Society saw poverty as evidence of sin and abandonment by the heavens. An invisible barrier stood firmly between the palace gates and the street corners.
In a land of ancient sun and stone, there lived a man of immense wealth, whose life was defined by the finest things the world could offer. He dressed in the most exquisite purple linens and fine silks, his every step echoing through a palace of marble and gold. Every day was a feast of indulgence, his tables groaning under the weight of roasted meats and exotic fruits. He lived within the warm glow of oil lamps, surrounded by laughter and the comfort of his high-born peers. No desire went unfulfilled as servants moved like shadows, catering to his every whim amidst the ornate pillars of his home. But just outside those very gates, in the harsh, dusty glare of the Judean sun, lay a man named Lazarus. A man broken by poverty and illness, he reached out his trembling hands toward the gate, hoping for a mercy that never came. His eyes were hollow, reflecting a life of exhaustion and the quiet desperation of a man the world had chosen to forget. He had no companions but the mangy dogs of the street, who came to lick the sores upon his skin as he lay in the dirt. He longed to eat even the scraps that fell from the rich man's table, but even the crumbs were swept away beyond his reach. As the afternoon sun dipped low, the palace wall cast a long, cold shadow over his frail body, leaving him in the growing chill. When the rich man exited his gates, he stepped over the misery at his feet without a single glance of pity. The world of the wealthy had no room for the broken. A servant roughly pushed the beggar aside to clear the path. Clothed in his pride, the rich man remained satisfied in his own comfort, his heart hardened to the suffering just inches away. The heavy gates slammed shut, a final cold barrier between the light of the banquet and the darkness of the street. Between them lay a gulf of indifference, a divide that stretched from the dusty earth to the silent, watching stars of the Judean sky. In the quiet shadows of a dusty stone wall, Lazarus breathed his last, his earthly suffering finally coming to an end. Radiant angels descended into the dark Judean alleys, casting a brilliant golden light that signaled a divine arrival. They bore his soul through a blinding tunnel of white and gold, leading him toward a peace he had never known. Meanwhile, the rich man feasted in his palace, laughing over golden chalices, oblivious to the eternal shift approaching. But death comes for all. In the cold moonlight, his laughter faded as he lay motionless on his velvet couch. Above ground, a grand funeral procession filled the streets of Jerusalem, mourning a man whose wealth could follow him no further. In the depths, the rich man's eyes snapped open to a terrifying void, illuminated only by a haunting orange-red glow. Fear gripped him as the reality of his new existence began to settle in the suffocating heat of the shadows. Looking up from the dark pit, he saw a distant, brilliant light where a familiar figure stood in glory. He stared with shocked recognition at Lazarus, his heart filled with a regret that words could not describe. Desperate, he reached toward the light, his voice crying out for mercy amidst the flickering shadows of the abyss. He pleaded for just one drop of water to cool his parched tongue, as the light of paradise shimmered far above. From the Garden of Peace, Abraham looked down with a somber expression, speaking of the justice that now reigned. In life, the rich man had everything while Lazarus suffered. Now, their eternal roles were dramatically and forever reversed. Between them lay a massive, bottomless canyon, a great chasm that no soul could ever hope to cross. At the edge of the abyss, the rich man stood in total defeat, realizing the finality of the eternal divide. He knelt alone in the vast, dark landscape, surrounded only by the drifting embers of his former pride. Far above, Lazarus walked through a serene garden, healthy and radiant in the glow of the golden hour. The divide was absolute. On one side, divine light and eternal peace. On the other, a deep and suffocating blackness. The story of earthly vanity concludes as the candle is extinguished, leaving only the truth of the eternal Word. Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water to cool my tongue, for I am in agony in these flames. The heat is unyielding, and the darkness offers no escape. But between the two worlds, a vast and bottomless chasm was fixed, preventing any soul from crossing the divide. In that garden of peace, Lazarus stood beside Abraham, his suffering replaced by the eternal comfort of the heavens. The man who once had everything now begged for the smallest mercy, a single drop of water from a beggar's hand. Abraham looked down with sorrow but firm resolve. The time for choosing a path had long since passed. Then a new fear took hold of the rich man. He thought of the 5 brothers he had left behind in the world. I beg you then, Father, send Lazarus to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers. Let him warn them, so that they may not also come to this place of torment. He realized too late that they were walking the same path of luxury and neglect he once walked. Abraham stood tall against the celestial breeze, his voice echoing with the authority of the eternal. They have Moses and the prophets, Abraham replied. Let them listen to them. No, Father Abraham. If someone from the dead goes to them, surely they will repent and change their ways. If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be convinced, even if someone rises from the dead. The word was already among them, written in the scrolls, yet their hearts remained hardened and their eyes remained shut. The rich man collapsed into the deep shadows as the red embers swirled more violently, sealing his isolation. One final glimpse of the paradise he had lost was all that remained as the light began to fade. The divide between 2 destinies was final, a great gulf that no man could bridge by his own merit. Yet the word remains, shining through the ages, calling to those who would listen while there is still time. In the silence of the night, the choices we make today echo forever in the halls of eternity. Jesus did not condemn wealth or glorify poverty. The tragedy of the rich man lies in his belief that material possessions were his master, his indifference to the suffering of others, and his belief that there was no afterlife. This story reminds us that earthly life is but a fleeting moment. Our wealth and fame will eventually vanish. While the door of grace remains open, we are called to repent and place our faith in Jesus Christ for eternal salvation. Do not hoard earthly possessions that rot and fade. Instead, live a holy life, love your neighbor as yourself, and be ready for the day the Lord returns. The choice is yours, and its echo lasts forever.